Hello everyone, Matt from Model Minutes here and welcome back to the workbench for another unboxing. This is going to be a really quick one today actually because I'm looking at this, the 1/48 scale North American F-86F Sabre from Airfix. So join me as I do a quick look inside the box, and I say a quick look because I've already done a relatively deep dive on this version. This is the 2022 version, and I don't think there's going to be a great amount of difference between this one and this one. So if you'd like to have a more deeper dive inside the box, take a look at my original unboxing on this kit. In this video, however, I will be comparing or seeing what's different effectively, because I imagine it'll be exactly the same, just the paint schemes will be different. However, on the box, you can see that this is a slightly more exciting paint scheme. In my previous unboxing, I discussed how it had the impression that the earlier boxing, this one here, had some slightly less interesting paint schemes, which was perhaps why there was like excess stock left over from the original run. We can see we've got two different schemes over here. We've had a Norwegian and a Japanese one, but they were a little bit bland, which I think Airfix went ahead and addressed for the next release 2 years later. So this one was 2022 and then this one was 2024. And in this one, we've got a more exciting and more colourful set of paint schemes. So on the front then, this one has these 4 aircraft in flight over, I presume this is Alaska. And they have some beautiful artwork, don't they, Airfix? The thin edges are the same as we have on the front, but the item code for this is 08111. So A08111. If we go on to the long thin edges, we can see the same sort of warning information as is expected. We do have a officially licensed sticker from Boeing and Cartograph logo as well, which says that the decals will be made by Cartograph and should be to a nice quality. We have our tooling date of 2020, which is great to see. So it's not an old kit, so it should be up to really quite modern standards. And the actual version we have here was released in 2024. If we flip over to the other edge, we have some information about the actual Sabre, and we have some dimensions. The length is 239 millimeters, the width is also 239 millimeters, and there are 166 pieces. I don't think that was what we had on here. In the other boxing, which I've already looked at, the length and width were different, if it will focus. The width was 250 in the original boxing, and in this one the width is 239. So perhaps that's a typo. I don't think they are drastically different, where the width would be a bit shorter. I think there might be a typo. There are 166 parts in this one, apparently. So apparently there's 10 more parts. Don't know what those parts are for, so maybe we'll investigate and see. The paint schemes that we've got included then. We've got the first one, which is for a Sabre for the Arctic Gladiators aerobatic team in Alaska in 1955, and then the next one is for a aircraft based in Kent in England in 1954, but they do have slightly more colourful stuff going on with them. Again, this is a 3 flying hour kit, so cut that out, keep that coupon. If you're in the club, you can redeem it against more kits, or send those coupons to Models for Heroes and they can use them for charitable work. All it costs you is the price of a stamp to send them in. And you're helping to support charity. Down here is a skill level 2, so it shouldn't be a hard kit to do. Let's get into this one then, see if we can find what the differences are. I don't want to linger too long because I've already done a more in-depth unboxing on the other kit. So I'm going to have a quick look. So the paperwork then is to the normal format that we can expect from Airfix. There are decals, there's our painting instructions. I'm just going to have a quick scan through the instructions. This appears to be primarily the same. However, in the other boxing, we had a choice of chairs, whereas in this one, we only need to pick one. As we move on through, this appears to be the same as well. Pilot is included, blanking plug. We do have the option to have gun bays open on the nose, which is the same as the previous version. We also have the option to have our air brake open or closed, which again was the same as on the other kit. We do need to install nose weight. We have drop tanks, so we have holes to drill out for that. We have option for raised or lowered landing gear, which is the same. And again, our leading edge slats, I think, where are they? I'm pretty sure the leading edge slats could be positioned more open. I think that's what I said in the other kit. Maybe I was mistaken. Oh, is this a slightly different variant, perhaps? Maybe it doesn't have leading edge slats. That's going to vex me. Oh, hang on. That's going to vex me. Yeah, so I've got the instructions for the other kit here. And in this kit, in the earlier version, we do have leading edge slats by the looks of it that can be positioned like drooping. I'm sure that's what it is, or it's like or if it's not leading edge slats. Oh, it is. It's leading edge. Look, so it's these. They look like they can be positioned down. However, that option doesn't seem to be present in this, so it must be a slightly different variant because they just glue them straight in. So it would have been at step 51, but in this one, step 51 is just gluing them in flat. So that's a change. That's a difference. So the older kit has the option to display the slats sort of open in a sort of drooping position, whereas this one does not. Well, that is interesting. Cool. So let's carry on then. Moving on, these seem to be the same. These are the same raised or lowered landing gear. I think we move on to adding air brakes if that was what you wanted to do. And we have our drop tanks, which are the same as on the other kit. We come on in, and these are all the same steps as we saw previously on the other unboxing. So why this one has more parts, I don't know, because surely this one is using less parts because it's not doing the drooping leading edge slats. Interesting. I wonder if that was a typo on the box. This brings us on to the painting instructions. The painting instructions are in color, which is what we like to see. This is the more exciting and vibrant paint scheme with the banding across there, big red wingtips and tail. And yeah, probably the one that you would want to do given how exciting it is in comparison to maybe this one, which is a little bit more muted, but still fairly interesting with the stripes on the tail as well. Probably I would be interested in doing this one. But yeah, let's put that back. We have our decals, very similar to the ones we looked at previously with the common ones at the top. If you don't like stencils, this is probably not the kit for you, but the decals are printed to really nice quality. We have like silver around some of them as well, which is pretty fun, but the printing is really nice. But yeah, this is looking pretty decent. No real color problems, although actually again on the red here I saw some issues on the red on the other kit, and there are some slight little, it's not scuffs, it's almost like where the color hasn't fully saturated. Nothing really that detracts too much, but it's something I noticed on the other kit. But yeah, that's that. And then that brings us, I think that was probably, there are stencils. The stencil instructions are on the back here, so we can see where all the little stencils go. And then this brings us on to the parts. Let's put them down to one side, and the clear parts come in their own little bag. So very quickly look into this. And these appear to be the same, pretty much exactly the same. No differences that I can see from the other unboxing. Perhaps a little bit dirty, and there's like a little bit of like dust on it from the factory. Kits are typically statically charged when they come out of the machine, so they do attract anything from in the air. But pretty much the same standard that we saw previously, perhaps a little more greasy than on the other kit that I looked at, but not anything untoward. And then we have our plastic parts, which are molded in the dark grey plastic. In the other kit, they were molded in the light grey plastic. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we do actually have 5 sprues in here. If I remember correctly, there were 4 in the other boxing. So this one is the same. I remember seeing this one. This has our fuselage and things on it, and the molding is to the same kind of standard as it was on the other kit. The plastic is a little bit more greasy, and it does feel maybe slightly thinner, if that's possible. It can't be thinner because it's the same mold, so maybe the plastic is not quite as dense. But yeah, okay on the whole. The level of detail seems to be exactly the same with recessed panel lines and select rivet details in places. We don't have much in the way of flash. It's still fairly clean. Ejector pin marks should be on this side, which they are. In the other kit, they were relatively dirty pin marks, but in this kit, they're not. They're a little bit nicer. Yeah, so that one's the same, really. Now this one has our wing components, which also feature those like raised and lowered slats that we were talking about earlier on. The cockpit control panels on here. Again, the details are relatively nice, as I saw previously on the other kit, but they are a little bit soft in places. But that's okay. It's not a big issue. Yeah, generally speaking, it still looks to be pretty much the same. If we come on down, so this is a new sprue. This is a sprue that we didn't have in the other kit. So these are parts for the wing. So these are wing parts, or actually there's a control panel and things here as well. So that's the difference. The difference between the old kit and this kit is that the wings are different. They have different style of wings. So it must be like it's a different variant. It's a different variant of the Sabre. Unfortunately, this sprue isn't quite as nice as the other ones. You can see there's some weird sort of artifacts here. There's like it's almost like a scuff, but I can't feel it. Strange that. And there's one over here as well. Hopefully that doesn't show up in the finished build. There's another bit here. That's a bit greasy, actually. A bit greasy. So yeah, perhaps this sprue, this bit is an add-on, and it's not quite as up to the same level as that one. Not terrible, just you know, not quite as crisp. Not much in the way of flash though, still relatively good. This part seems to be falling off over here, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, a bit strange. So that's probably why we've got a different count of parts, because although it's the same base kit, this is a different sprue. So we have extra sprue. They just haven't omitted the other ones that we don't need. This sprue has all of our different wheels because they're molded in for different variants, I presume. And then we have all of our smaller parts as well, machine guns and things. I do want to find the pilot. The pilot's up here. He appears to be exactly the same as it was in the other kit. He has got a little bit of an artifact here. There is like a slight hole there, if you can see that. If it will focus, there is a slight hole just here. I wonder if the ejector pin has gone through. No, there's not. It's a slight short shot, I think. So the ejector pin mark was there on the back. Yeah, so there's a slight short shot here where it hasn't quite filled the mold. A little bit of putty would probably fix that, but a little bit frustrating because we didn't see that on the other kit. But that seems to be the only problem I've found as such. And then that brings us on to the last one. And I remember on this sprue making a comment about the bathtub for the cockpit, and there were some scratches on the inside in here. Now the scratches appear to have been polished. They appear to have been polished out in this one, so they're not as obvious. What about on the back? Because on the back, yeah, so on the back there was these weird little pits and scuffs and things, but they're still here, so I don't know what that's about. But hopefully they're not going to be visible. But yeah, on the whole, not bad. Pretty good. Still pretty much the same as it was in the other boxing. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this dive inside the box. You'll probably remember when I looked at the other boxing that one was an absolute bargain, probably because it was clearance. They couldn't shift the stock. But what I can see online at the moment is that this one is actually retailing for £41.99, which is the recommended retail price. But if you have watched my mystery unboxing video, you'll know that I actually got this kit in that. So this was a mystery kit that was sent to me when I purchased a mystery bundle. So if you want to know more about that mystery bundle, take a look at that specific video. On the whole, actually, I think for 2020 tooling, it's kind of up to today's modern standards. Maybe there are a few little bits and pieces I've picked up which are a little bit frustrating. I think that maybe £42 given some of the slight issues we've had. Maybe a touch too high, but you can usually get these kits a little bit cheaper in different places. And as mentioned, I got this probably for like a third off when I did the bundle, so it was a third off the retail price. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed my quick look through this, well, relatively quick look to see what the differences are. And as mentioned, if you want to take a deeper look at what I looked at in the previous boxing of this kit, then do take a look at that video, which I'll link under the description. And with that, I think I'm going to call this one here. This is still a good tooling with nice level of detail, maybe a little bit soft, and relatively crisp molding with no flash that I can really see. A slight problem with that pilot figure and some little weird scuffs in places, but nothing that couldn't be fixed with a little bit of extra work. The decals are really nice, the instructions are good too, and the painting instructions are to a good quality. And we've got a couple of nice paint schemes in here. Actually, in my opinion, these paint schemes are better than in the previous offering. Perhaps the price is a little bit high, but if you can find it cheaper, then absolutely it may well be worth your time. Let me know down in the comments what you think of my unboxing and if my assessment of this second version of this kit was fair. And as always, a quick shout out to my Model Club members for the extra support they give the channel. Massive thanks to these guys on screen, and if you'd like to join them, take a look at the links in the description. There are other ways to help support the channel as well, and full information is below the video. The best way to support the channel for free though is by subscribing with notifications turned on so you never miss a modelling upload. Finally though, last thing to say is a massive thank you to you for watching this one, and I'll see you on the workbench again next time.